We honored to welcome our good friend, none other than our minister, the Honorable Chris Alexander, Minister of Citizenship and Immigration for our wonderful country of Canada. And we are here to hear exciting announcements that will be affecting all the populations, in particular the Chinese Canadian population as well too. So without delay, let's welcome our Minister, Chris Alexander. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ken. Thank you so much, Dr. Ng. Thank you to your Federation for hosting us here today and for all the things that you do to make our relations strong and to make our immigration programs effective. This cultural center and this agency are major partners for everything we do at Citizenship and Immigration. And of course, we have just celebrated all of those achievements over the weeks of Chinese New Year. So it's an absolute pleasure to be with you here to continue that round of good news and greetings to you all. Ni hao ma. Good day to everyone et bonjour. Je suis très fier d'être là au nom du Premier ministre Stephen Harper, de mes collègues Rob Nicholson, ministre des Affaires étrangères, Ed Fast, ministre du Commerce international, to make an announcement that is critical to the future of our relations as two great trading partners, two great populations connected by immigration and growing volumes of visits in both directions, Canada and China. It goes without saying that China is immensely important to Canada's immigration success. For generations, Chinese Canadians have made invaluable contributions to the history and success of this country and to the history and success of this city of Markham, to the neighboring city of Toronto, to the whole Greater Toronto area where most of us here today live, work, and are proud to call home. We see this contribution not just in our part of Canada, but across all provinces now, in the Greater Vancouver area, in the Lower Mainland of British Columbia, where my colleague Minister Fast is speaking on this topic today. And I'm particularly grateful to my other colleagues, C.S. Dong, with whom I have worked in tandem at many Chinese New Year events in the last couple of weeks, Parliamentary Secretary for Multiculturalism for being with us here today, as well as Senator Victor O here to celebrate today's announcements. Vancouver obviously has become North America's gateway, not only Canada's gateway for Asia-Pacific trade, largely thanks to the presence of Chinese Canadians, the large community in the Lower Mainland that traces its roots to China and other countries of Asia. And here in the GTA, hardworking Canadians of Chinese descent have helped to make our country's largest metropolitan area into one of the world's most important economic centers. And these things don't happen by accident, they don't happen by themselves. It is not a coincidence that Toronto's status as a growing financial hub for Canada and for the world, its status as a great place to live and do business, recognized by so many indices, so many independent rating agencies in recent years, has to do with the strength of immigration, has to do with the strength we have in our diversity, and it is rooted in the large communities of newcomers that are thriving in the city and making huge contributions to this city, starting with our absolutely successful and booming, if I am allowed to use that word, Chinese Canadian community. Today, nearly 1.5 million people living in Canada trace their heritage back to China. That accounts for nearly 5% of Canada's total population. And if you look at recent years, when China has been repeatedly the top country of origin for immigration to Canada, you see that it is the recent trends that are most striking. In fact, Mandarin and Cantonese Chinese, as well as other Chinese dialects, are together Canada's third most spoken language, family of languages, after English and French. China continues to be one of the top source countries for immigrants to Canada, And we expect immigration from China will continue to play a vital role in our country's economic growth and prosperity in years and indeed decades to come. It's a leading source country for international students and visitor visas. To meet the growing demand for visas to Canada, our missions in Beijing and Shanghai have established a number of programs to facilitate and expedite the processing of applications for business visitors, students, and tourists. And in the recent celebration of Chinese New Year, I heard a lot firsthand from business people about how much faster, how much easier, how much more user-friendly our system has become as we've multiplied the number of visa application centers and indeed the number of officers and staff we have across China delivering these services. As well, we've introduced a number of changes in recent years to facilitate the visa process for Chinese visitors to Canada. These initiatives have been a great success. Just from 2006 to 2014, over less than a decade, the number of visitor visas issued to Chinese citizens increased by almost 200%. The exact number is 193%. And just to give one great example of recent progress, visitors to Canada from China and elsewhere, but China is the biggest source of these visitors by far, are now automatically considered for a multiple entry visa, which allows qualified visitors to come and go from Canada for 6 months at a time for up to 10 years without having to reapply each time. Today, I'm pleased to announce that Canada has concluded an arrangement with the Chinese government that will expand this initiative to cover as well Canadian business people, tourists, and family members visiting China. Aujourd'hui, je suis ravi d'annoncer que le Canada a conclu une entente avec le gouvernement de la Chine qui élargira cette initiative aux gens d'affaires, aux touristes et aux membres des familles canadiens qui se rendent en Chine. This new arrangement will allow most Canadian travelers to enter and leave China without applying for a separate visa every time they do so. Cette nouvelle entente permettra à la plupart des voyageurs canadiens d'entrer en Chine et d'en sortir sans avoir à présenter une nouvelle demande de visa à chaque fois. Currently, a Canadian needs to apply for a separate visa every time he or she visits China, regardless of whether you stay for a week, a day, or 6 months. Today's announcement will mean that Canadians only need to apply for a visa once and then can travel to China as often as they like for up to 10 years without the need to apply for a separate visa every time. Effective today, Canadians may submit their requests for the new multiple entry visa to Chinese consulates and authorities. Let me repeat that. This new arrangement is already in place. It's already, the doors are already open, and so I encourage all of you and all of those listening who do business in China, who visit China regularly for family, tourism, or other reasons, to take advantage of this great opportunity. I'm sure you can imagine what great news this is for our business community, for those who travel regularly between the two countries looking for new trade and investment opportunities, who are under pressure to be competitive, to be there quickly, and for whom we are removing another form of another administrative burden, another form of red tape, which will indeed smooth the way to further progress in our business relations. These multiple entry visas will make business travel between our countries easier and further help to expand trade and investment ties. Easing travel is also great news for family members, tourists who sometimes travel back and forth multiple times over several years. It will bring us together as countries through our people-to-people ties, through the huge volumes of visitors now going in both directions, who form literally a human bridge between our countries. More than 2,000 people now travel back and forth between our two countries every day, which speaks to the number of direct flights that has grown rapidly in recent years, and we know there are plans afoot to grow it even further as a result of initiatives such as today. Let's just recall that in the 1970s, 2,000 people was about the number we had going back and forth in an entire year. So think of the progress, the exponential progress that has been made. We know that there are now over 100,000 Chinese students studying here in Canada. It's the largest segment of our international student population. These numbers highlight the deepening relationship between Canada and China. They underline the importance of today's announcement, And by making it easier for business people, family members, and tourists to travel to China, our two countries are further strengthening an already robust trade and investment relationship, the second largest that we have anywhere in the world, and the largest by far that we have with any partner outside of North America, while further cementing the very strong bonds of friendship and partnership which we can see all around us here in this market village and certainly in Pacific Mall next door, en facilitant l'entrée en Chine pour les gens d'affaires, les membres des familles et les touristes. Nos deux pays consolident de façon davantage nos relations déjà vigoureuses en matière de commerce et d'investissement, tout en renforçant les solides liens d'amitié et de partenariat qui nous unissent. Il faut se rappeler du fait que la Chine s'avère déjà le deuxième partenaire en importance économique du Canada et le partenaire numéro 1 à l'extérieur de l'Amérique du Nord. On est fiers de ce bilan, mais l'annonce d'aujourd'hui va nous permettre d'aller encore plus loin en approfondissement nos relations économiques et dans d'autres domaines. Thank you again for being here today. Belated Happy Chinese New Year to all of us. Happy Holi to those celebrating the great Indian festival of Holi, which began in earnest last night. And above all, I'm sorry that we're an entirely male delegation up here, but congratulations for International Women's Day to everyone that's here with us today. We have a lot to celebrate in Canada and a lot to do at home and around the world on issues involving women. But we're proud to celebrate their many contributions to relations with China and to everything that we do in citizenship and immigration. Thank you very much. Interviews afterwards, but
Minister,
please.
The announcement was made by Minister of Foreign Affairs in China yesterday.
Yes.
So today you are making the announcement. It looks like the two countries taking different levels of importance about this announcement. Any comment?
Well, we did it on the same day, the same calendar day. We have two ministers announcing it in Canada. China had one very senior minister announcing it yesterday. I think we attach the same importance to this announcement. It truly is reciprocal. You know, we have been doing this for some time with China and a few other countries because we knew how important it was to bring Chinese business people and all Chinese visitors here faster. We knew what pressure there was on them to come to Canada many times in the course of a year and to have the flexibility that multiple entry visa brings. Now we see the Chinese government matching that service not too long after we introduced it. I think it shows how committed both sides are to advancing the relationship and to making sure that entrepreneurs, business people, investors, traders, family members who have lives in both countries are able to move with the frequency that such a wide-ranging relationship requires. Please.
The issue of 10 years Chinese visa require a 10-year passport. Right now, Passport Canada only issue the people who are 60 years older for 10 years. And for the children, you only issue 5 years maximum. So since there is a conflict between each other, there will be a lot of issues there for the children, for the family, want to have a 10 years old visa.
Sure. We have the rules that we have in order to ensure the integrity of our passport program, in order to ensure that we are keeping track with changing faces, changing, an infant's passport is only valid for 3 years because of the change in a way that an infant looks with every year. So these are norms that many countries have. I think still a 5-year passport is of relatively long duration. The popularity of our 10-year e-passport is second to none, as well as the security features that it now includes. We are trying to give Canadians the best service we can, the longest duration passport we can, while ensuring the security and integrity of Canadian passports, which are in demand and where we have to keep up with fraud and identity theft and all of the risks that we know are out there. So we will continue to strike that balance. I think today, whatever your age is, for anyone traveling regularly to China, it's good news.
They say that the Canadian 10 years multi-entry visa is just for the visitors of Chinese from China, not for the business people. But under the new agreement, what more the Canada government gave the Chinese side?
It's first and foremost for business. I would be very surprised to hear of anyone doing legitimate business between Canada and China who hasn't had this opportunity. It is also for visitors, yes, those visiting family, those coming as tourists. But the logic of this 10-year multiple entry visa was first spelled out and first put forward to help business people. And I can confirm to you that there are hundreds of thousands of people who do business who have those 10-year multiple entry visas.
I think that is absolutely
An important link to draw, because we have had sustained high-level contact between our leaderships. We've had unprecedented numbers of ministers traveling to follow up on the Prime Minister's visit. And these are the kinds of announcements that show the relationship is moving forward, that we see mutual benefit from the economic relationship, which is now so substantial, and we have built up the systems and the forms of cooperation among many agencies and government bodies that allows for this kind of step to be taken. Because every time we do this with multiple entry visas for Canada, today's announcement on the Chinese side, we see much larger numbers of visitors. And that has to be managed. There are always risks associated with global travel. There are people from outside of Canada and China who will try to take advantage of these arrangements. And of course, security is at the forefront of our minds in everything we do. But the benefits of seeing 2,000 people coming back and forth between our two countries every day are enormous. And the benefits of continuing double-digit growth in those visitor volumes are obviously huge. Tourism in both Canada and China are big business. Our populations are curious about one another. There's a lot of room to grow there. We've seen just in the city of Toronto and Markham as well, enormous growth in tourist numbers in recent years.